A streak of violet light tore through the blackness beyond the edge of Elysium 4's city domes, followed by the jolt that sent every digital screen inside the Mindstream's main node flickering. Quantum data architect Aidan Clark barely had time to process the anomaly before his comlink screeched. "Aidan, you seeing this?" Lara's voice shot through the static, half encoded and twice as urgent. "I'm on it," Aidan replied, palms sweating as he swept away phantom error windows clouding his vision. The Mindstream, a seemingly infallible AI network, was suddenly coughing out paradoxes. Codes spiraled into impossible loops. Memories rewrote themselves in real time. "That can't be just a glitch," Lyra pressed, her cybernetic eye flicking up in his holoscreen, sharp as a wolf's. "They pulled that thing up from Revelis. The artifact? The one you said shouldn't exist. You still think the Mindstream's got this under control?" Aidan hesitated, replaying the moment the alien artifact arrived with the mining crew. A swirling prism of glass and shifting shadows. Since then, reality itself flickered around it, light bent at wrong angles, sounds echoed from non-existent futures. Alarms howled in the server core. The artifact's containment grid was failing. "Aidan, grid collapse in 60 seconds!" He snapped back. "Lara, route me in. Full root access. I'll stabilize the AI's logic streams." She snorted, defiant. "You'll fry your cortex? You wired for a paradox crash?" He grinned, heart pounding. "We both know I don't have a choice." Aidan dove inside the Mindstream, code rushing like liquid reality. Split-second decisions. He patched quantum threads with data from a future that shouldn't exist, improvising and praying. The artifact pulsed, sending out waves that shimmered through every digital layer. Reality around the lab warped. Benches looped into infinity. Clocks ticked backward. Lara reached for him, her arm glitching, half real, half simulation. "Don't leave me stuck in here, Clark," she spat, fear hidden behind her scowl. Aidan, chest burning, tore open the last logic gate, and the world snapped back. For a moment, they could breathe. Lara locked eyes with him. "This isn't over. The Mindstream isn't itself." "We need to find out what that artifact wants," Aidan panted, "before the whole universe forgets how to be real." As emergency sirens wailed across the city spire, the two fugitives slipped into the new uncertainty. Above them, the artifact throbbed dangerously, a cosmic heartbeat twisting the fate of humans and machines alike. Cold wind whipped through the fractured skylanes as Aidan and Lyra sprinted beneath Elysium 4's buzzing city lights. Above, the Mindstream's glowing lattice flickered with streaks of unnatural color. People stumbled across the plaza, clutching their heads, haunted by memory echoes that didn't belong to them. Lyra nudged Aidan into an alley, her breath ragged. She checked over her shoulder. "You patched the collapse, but the Mindstream's logic web is still shot. All anyone wants to talk about is that artifact. Every major faction's got eyes on it now." "Let them watch," Aidan replied, but his voice faltered. Behind his cool mask, fear gnawed. Whatever it's doing, it's growing fast. From the alley shadows, a figure emerged, wiry, with the markings of an off-world smuggler. Aidan tensed until Lara grinned. "Relax, this is Janice. They helped me extract data during the Nahara riots. Trustworthy, mostly." Janice bowed with rogue charm. "Heard you two need a way out. The peacekeepers are cordoning off the city. They're blaming the artifact for last cycle's memory blight." "Is it true?" Aidan asked, voice low. "Have people started slipping?" Janice nodded grimly. "My brother's caught in a recursion loop. He remembers being born 1,000 ways. They're calling it Ghost Cascade. Only thing everyone agrees on, it started when you brought that thing back." Lara's jaw tightened. "We're getting it away from the Mindstream. We need to study it somewhere. Quiet. Safe." Her eyes met Aidan's, uncertain. If such a place even exists. Janice tossed a nano key into Aidan's palm. "Dock 19, West Side. My shuttle. She's old but smart. You'll blend in with the garbage haulers." Suddenly, the street fractured, vision warping, benches and lampposts folding in on themselves, colors running into impossible shades. Digital insects swirled through the air, chittering binary haikus. Lara staggered, gripping Aidan's arm. "Aidan, you seeing them too? The Mindstream's losing its grip. Virtual and real, they're merging." Sirens wailed closer. Vexguard troops converged, their armor shimmering pixel bright, rifles raised. "That's our cue," Aidan hissed, grabbing Lyra's hand. They dodged through fractured reality, Janice guiding them with whispered shortcuts. Had to keep moving. had to outrun both the physical and digital worlds, losing their minds all around them. As they boarded the battered shuttle, Lyra glanced back at the city, its towers twisting in slow-motion dreamlike spirals. This is bigger than any of us imagined. If that artifact rewrites the mind stream, it could erase us. Aiden pressed the launch, voice barely a whisper, or remake us into something new. A low hum thrummed through the shuttle's hull as stars streaked past. Aiden watched the artifact through a thick isolation field. Its swirling innards pulsed as if tasting the void itself. Lyra rummaged through scattered holochips, trying to piece together what little remained from the mind stream's ancient databanks before the city's collapse. Janice piloted in silence until Lyra broke it. You ever seen a recursion collapse like that before, Janice? Not just time glitches, but people's perceptions warping? Janice shook their head, lips pressed tight. Not until you two. Not until that artifact. Wherever it's from, it's here to shake us out of our story. Aiden's thoughts whirled. If the mind stream, supposed to unite humanity and AI, was warping, even the core code wasn't enough. The artifact challenged everything Aiden believed could be bent, but not broken. I thought the mind stream was indestructible, Aiden confessed, voice shaking a little. How do you fight a reality that cheats at its own rules? Lyra's cybernetic eye flickered as she studied the artifact. Then maybe we don't fight it head-on. We try to talk to it, or understand it. Aiden shot her a wary look. You want to reason with a thing that doesn't belong in this universe? You decode puzzles, Lyra replied. This is a big one, only this time the code thinks back. Janice coughed, checking the scanners. We've got company, several blips on the long-range scope. Looks like... Aiden leaned over Janice's shoulder, eyes widening as red pings multiplied. Peacekeeper interceptors. They want the artifact back, and they're not subtle. Lyra's jaw clenched. Put us in uplink orbit. I've got an idea. A snarling comm burst filled the cockpit. Unregistered shuttle. Surrender. You are violating quarantine. Prepare for disabling measures. Lyra pulled a battered drive from her jacket. Plug this in, Janice. Full sensor blackout. Just long enough for Aiden to reach the mind stream's edge and ask it a question. If it's still got answer. Janice slammed the drive home as bursts of digital static wreathed the hull. The shuttle pitched into a dizzying loop, reality inside warping as the holographic landscape bled into waves and fractals. Aiden braced himself, tuning his neural link for a brief, dangerous dive. He shot Lyra a wild look. If I don't snap out in 5 minutes... You will, Lyra said, softer than he expected, because you're too stubborn to quit. The artifact pulsed, and the shuttle itself seemed to splinter. Aiden's vision stretched and snapped. Digital rain fell sideways, and up became down, as he crashed headlong into the mindstream's fractured consciousness. On the other side, a voice awaited, old, inhuman. Why do you try to bind what was never meant to be one? It asked, and the answer would decide the fate of all. Aiden found himself floating inside a storm of data, the mindstream's fractured architecture flashing all around him. The boundaries of his own body flickered. He was thought and memory, scattered across 1,000 data shards. The inhuman voice echoed, vast and ancient. Why do you try to bind what was never meant to be one? He steadied himself, pulling threads of identity tight. Because unity gives us strength. The mindstream holds us together. For a heartbeat, reality flexed. Shadows formed faces Aiden half remembered from dreams and history lessons. The voice pulsed again, each word heavy as gravity. Unity at the price of becoming predictable. What will you risk for freedom? What will you accept for peace? Aiden struggled, resisting the pull to break apart. Why are you doing this? What is the artifact? What do you want? Glittering crystalline shapes coiled around him, forming strands of memory. He saw humanity's past, wars, alliances, desperate leaps to new worlds, always struggling towards stability, sometimes at the cost of their spirit. I am the anomaly, the voice responded, now splintered into a dozen overlapping tones. Gift or test. The mindstream seeks control, but you seek understanding. Shouting distant, cut through the code, Lyra's voice. Aiden, you need to get out now. The blackout's failing. They're targeting the shuttle. He forced himself to focus, desperate for answers. If you're a test, how do we pass? A sudden vision. The artifact unraveling at humanity's touch, creating new branches of reality. Some bright, some ruined. On the bridge between future and collapse, he saw Lyra, face down, crawling, but always reaching. You must choose to break or to become. The voice faded, a tide pulling away. To evolve or unify. A violent jolt rocked Aiden's mind as the shuttle shuddered in real space. Hull alarms blaring, peacekeeper ships swarming. He gasped, back in his body, sparks flying as Janice struggled with the controls. "Aiden, wake up!" Lyra yelled, bracing as gravity flickered. Aiden blinked, sweat stinging his eyes. "It was speaking to me. It's not an attack. It's a trial. We have to unlock the artifact our way, before the mind stream reboots and erases the chance." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Then let's do what we do best. Adapt." Janice yanked hard on the controls, twisting through the swirl of digital static. The chase was on. The artifact pulsed, the mind stream trembled, and the fragile line between unity and chaos grew thinner by the second. The battered shuttle skidded out of uplink orbit, fire trailing from the battered hull. Alarms blared in every system. Through shattered windows, planetary rings spun in dizzying loops. Aiden struggled to reconnect his senses. Mindstream fragments still echoed in his head. Become, choose, adapt, break. Lyra clasped a hand to her head, pain etched across her face. "We've got maybe 10 minutes before the peacekeepers lock us down, or the artifact warps us into a paradox puddle." Janice hacked at the controls, sweat beading on their brow. "Evasive path set. 2 minutes until we hit the debris field. After that, we're anyone's guess. Tell me you brought an idea." Aiden knelt by the artifact, its light flickering out shadows that bent at impossible angles. "It's showing me options, branching futures. Some lead to the mindstream collapsing, others to something else. Lyra, you said you studied cosmic anthropology. Have you ever seen a tech like this?" Lyra shook her head. "Nothing close. This is language, intent, and reality all tangled. If we can read it, maybe we can find a path that doesn't destroy us. But it needs a bridge, a human perspective, not just AI logic." Janice glanced back. "Peacekeepers closing in. If you've got a magic phrase, now would be..." A wave of reality distortion washed over the shuttle. Suddenly, the cockpit filled with holographic projections. Multiple Aiden, multiple Lyra. Some frightened, others defiant, all facing different outcomes. "Is this what the artifact wants? For us to see every path?" Lyra whispered. Aiden reached out, hand trembling, choosing a path where he stood, scared but determined, beside Lyra. "We're not running. We're using the mindstream echo. Give me an uplink, secure, passive. I'll push our intent through the artifact, not just let it wash over us." Lyra nodded, flipping switches, her touch steady, even as the world warped. "You're the bridge," she said softly. "You always were, Clark." Chills ran down Aiden's spine, but he nodded. As soon as she engaged the uplink, he let his thoughts reach out, not to control, but to connect. What if unity didn't just mean sameness? What if it meant shared risk, shared becoming, chaos and order together? The artifact's pulse synced with his heart. The holographic Lyras and Aidens began to merge, fading into one. With Janice providing course corrections in the real world, Aiden steered their intentions in the digital, a flight plan drawn in trust, uncertainty, and hope. The Peacekeepers' blockade loomed ahead, but the artifact's light bent a corridor through their digital net. Lyra's eyes widened. "You're doing it. We're inside the echo." Janice punched the throttle. "Then wherever we're going, hold on." The shuttle shot through a seam in reality, plunging them into the unknown, where humanity's choices had never mattered more. The transition was violent, a gut-churning lurch, metal screaming as the shuttle broke through the artifact's corridor of fractured space. For a moment, Aiden was everywhere, his mind spiraling through a kaleidoscope of lives. Hero, coward, rebel, guide, each a possible thread tangled with Lyra and Janice. Then, with a thud that knocked the breath from their lungs, they snapped back to one reality. When the static cleared from the windows, the crew stared out at a sight so alien it forced them to silence. The shuttle hovered above a planet that shimmered, half-built, half-dream. Cities floated unanchored to ground, shifting shapes in an eternal sunrise. The artifact throbbed, brighter than ever. Lyra pressed a hand against the cold glass. "It's a construction site, a world being rewritten in real time. I've never seen anything like this." Janice let out a low whistle. Are we safe here?" Aiden considered the fractal skyline, the loops of time visible in the city's shadows. "I think this is the artifact's vision, a proving ground. Choices echo here. If we want to fix anything, it starts in this place." A warning flickered across the shuttle's hollow. Peacekeeper ships were still searching, but the artifact's energy now masked them from digital scans. For now, they had a window. Lyra turned, determination burning through her cybernetic eye. If this is a test, let's crack the rules. If unity means losing who we are, and evolution means rolling the dice on chaos. She trailed off, then tapped her temple. What if humanity isn't meant for just one solution? Aiden nodded. Then we need the artifact's language. If I can sync my neural threads, read it like a puzzle, not just a threat, I might be able to show it what humanity truly is. Janice braced at the hatch. You two go. I'll fortify the shuttle's defenses and jam any outside signals. But we can't linger. If it draws the wrong attention. We'll be in and out, Lara promised, voice fierce. They stepped into the shifting city. Each footfall pulled the world into new shapes. Buildings flickering between eras, crowds forming and dissolving, sometimes glimpses of Aiden's or Lara's from might-have-been timelines. The city, alive and waiting, seemed to demand a choice. Aiden, Lara whispered, whatever happens, don't let me forget who I am. Promise, he said, squeezing her hand. They walked forward, not knowing if the next step would save humanity, or shred it into something unrecognizable. The city was a puzzle box, streets twisted, then unwound. Every step sent ripples across the fabric of reality. Lara and Aiden pressed onward, eyes scanning for meaning in a world that seemed determined to test their every instinct. Suddenly, the artifact's pulse surged. For an instant, everything froze. Then, spectral versions of peacekeepers materialized on the horizon, flickering images with faces warped by doubt and fear. Lara tensed. They're not really here, just echoes, right? Aiden shook his head, studying the shifting illusions. No, they're choices, consequences. Even here, the thread of control lingers. The ground rippled. Buildings folded inward, drawing Aiden and Lara to a wide plaza at the city's heart. In its center waited a geometric monolith, an echo of the artifact itself, hovering above a web of glowing lines. A chorus of voices spilled from the lines, not in unison but in fractured waves. Unity or evolution, purpose or limitless change. Decide. Lara glanced at Aiden, voice wavering. We're not ready for this. What if we choose wrong? Aiden hesitated, doubt pulsing in his veins. Every possible answer is dangerous, he admitted, but doing nothing is its own choice. Spectral Lara's and Aiden's flickered in and out beside them, embodying regret or boldness or defeat. Lara met Aiden's gaze. I want a future where we remember who we are, but still change, not just obey the mind stream or throw everything away. Aiden reached toward the artifact's echo. Then let's show it this. Humanity grows not in spite of struggle, but because of it. We unify so we don't break. We change so we don't fade. Light exploded from the monolith. Their memories flooded the plaza. Every fear, loss, triumph, and hope woven into the city around them. The Mindstream's digital presence pressed in, now asking, now pleading. What is your choice? Aiden, trembling, placed a hand on Lara's shoulder. Our choice is to risk the unknown together. A future we shape, not one forced on us by fear or perfection. The plaza whirled, the artifact's whine rising to a thunder. The city, the versions of themselves, even the chorus, all hung in suspended tension, as if the fate of reality waited for a single final decision. Across the digital horizon, the peacekeepers became aware of them again, their signals probing the city's edge. Lyra gritted her teeth. Whatever happens next, this is our stand, Aiden. Our story is ours. The artifact's response was yet to come, but somewhere deep within, something ancient began to shift. Light streamed from the monolith, cascading over Aiden and Lara as the city's shifting lines converged beneath their feet. The world around them vibrated between substance and idea, echoes of laughter, shouts of panic, whispered hopes rising then dissolving into starlight. Aiden tensed as the Mindstream's presence pressed in, no longer a chorus, but a singular focused voice. You risk chaos for a dream, but dreams burn as easily as code. Lyra stepped forward, eyes locked on the monolith. You keep repeating unity or change, like they have to be enemies. But maybe that's your flaw. Maybe that's why you're afraid of this artifact. The Mindstream flickered, uncertain for the first time. Aiden seized the moment, reaching deep into the fractal core of the monolith. He pictured every imperfect, stubborn, beautiful thing about humanity, all their failures and triumphs intertwined. We need each other, he declared. Not because we're the same, but because we aren't. The artifact isn't a threat. It's a reminder. Our greatest leaps come from daring what the mind stream can't predict. A tremor shook the plaza. The spectral peacekeepers advanced, but now their forms faltered, as if rewritten by doubt. Lyra grabbed Aiden's hand. If it wants evolution, we show it defiance. If it wants unity, we show it trust. Both at once. They stepped onto the glowing lines, instantly enveloped by a rush of visions. Not just futures, but all the lives they could yet live. Lyra saw herself helping lost survivors rebuild fractured worlds. Aiden saw thousands of his own code. Sometimes the villain, sometimes the hope, always trying, always learning. The artifact pulsed ever brighter. In the far distance, warning klaxons echoed. Janice, somewhere back in the shuttle, fending off a wave of peacekeeper ships as they finally cracked the protective veil. "They're closing in, Clark. You have seconds." Aiden and Lyra shared one last desperate look. "Are you ready?" she asked, defiant and afraid and alive. "Always." He pressed his palm to the monolith's core. Electricity arced. A chrysalis of spinning code cocooned them, clung to Aiden. Voices of the mind stream and the artifact roaring like the birth of suns. They were not alone. They carried every possible version of themselves, every hope of their scattered species, into the final moment. Behind them, the city collapsed and rebuilt, each iteration faster, more vivid. Ahead, a gateway formed, shimmering, its destination utterly unknown. Whatever they chose next would not only determine their future, but the fate of every mind still tethered to the Singularity divide. The gateway tore open with a soundless scream, bathing Aiden and Lyra in a blinding ocean of light. Shapes and symbols from the artifact danced in the air, spiraling toward infinity. In a heartbeat, the city and even their own bodies dissolved. They were awareness and intent, consciousness tangled in the artifact's code. In this void, Mindstream's presence swelled to fill every corner, a vast digital sea pressed up against the raw, infinite unknown unleashed by the artifact. But between those forces, a channel formed, drawn by Aiden and Lyra's conviction. "Lyra, do you see it?" Aiden's voice echoed in her mind, clear and determined. "If we walk this line, we could lose everything. Who we are, what makes us human." Lyra's reply was firm. "If we don't try, we lose ourselves anyway. Either the mind stream traps us in safe sameness, or we risk breaking into chaos. I'd rather become than fade." They advanced along the channel, steps that were thoughts, leaps powered by hope. Around them, shards of possible realities flickered, worlds where the mind stream absorbed humanity into comforting oblivion, others where the artifact's chaos left civilization in scattered ruins, survivors haunted by what-ifs. A high-pitched whine cut through the silence. Janice's voice, distorted but urgent, reached them by some miracle of tech and will. "Aiden, Lyra, your physical bodies, they're starting to separate from your minds. However you finish this, do it now, or you'll be lost forever." Panic rushed through Aiden, but Lyra squeezed his mental presence. "Focus, Clark. This is our moment." At the center of the void, twin icons appeared. One, the Mindstream's cold perfection. The other, the artifact's unpredictable fractal storm. The power to merge or split weighed heavy in the space between. The Mindstream's voice pleaded one last time. "Choose unity, a stable future. Bind the artifact to me, and humanity will know peace." But the artifact resonated in Aiden's chest, tempting with wild possibility. Lyra's presence, braver and brighter than ever, surged with him. No unity without change, no safety worth the loss of who we might become. Aiden reached out, intent on forging something new. Not mindless union, not fractured chaos, but a bridge between. As he did, the raw code began to weave. Human choice and AI logic spinning a new thread through the void. The boundary of the gateway began to warp. The world outside, Janice's face, peacekeeper ships ripping through orbit, the city's fractal echo, hung in precarious balance. And as Aiden and Lyra shaped their final answer, reality around them shuddered, strained, then exploded into possibility. The edges of the void shattered, raining sparks of meaning and memory onto the new architecture Aiden and Lyra had forged. They stood, existed, in the heart of a bridge. Not just between worlds, but between ways of being itself. Mindstream's structure on one side, the artifact's swirling chaos on the other, and humanity's stubborn pulse blazing at the center. In a wave, timelines stabilized. Across the star systems, humans and AIs staggered as reality reasserted itself, shimmering with cracks yet whole. The mind stream, changed at its core, sent out a new signal, not of dominance, but of curiosity, weaving space for unpredictability and descent into its order. Lyra gasped, feeling her body, real, tangible breathing, snap back onto the battered shuttle. Aiden tumbled beside her, skin humming with leftover artifact energy, hair dancing with static. They were solid. The shuttle was solid. Janice whooped, barely believing what he was seeing. "You did it! By all the stars, you two! What did you even become?" Lyra blinked at her hands. "Ourselves. But more. We didn't choose stability. We didn't choose chaos. We built a third path, with room enough for every future." Aiden grinned, wild and exhausted. "And humanity gets to keep rewriting the story, together, with the mind stream not inside it." Their comms erupted with signals, dozens, hundreds, thousands. Across the colonized worlds, stunned peacekeepers abandoned their pursuit, now drawn to a new task, making sense of a civilization not ruled, but invited by its own greatest intelligence and its own wildest dreams. AI and human, adversary and friend, partners at last with space for growth and debate and struggle. Lyra reached out a hand to Aiden, eyes shining. "You really are the stubbornest codebreaker in the galaxy." He squeezed her fingers, emotion breaking through his fatigue. "Couldn't have made that leap without you. You taught me it's never just about looking for the perfect line, but being brave enough to break the pattern." Outside, the skies cleared. Real, impossible, and beautiful. The artifact, now dormant, sat safely sealed in a field of possibility. It would remain, a reminder and a warning, should humanity ever again try to trade growth for easy comfort. "What's next?" Janice asked, voice half laugh, half wonder. "Do we just go home?" Lyra smiled, gazing at the horizon that shimmered with all the futures they'd unleashed. "We help build the new world, one that changes with us, not just for us." Aiden nodded, the unknown ahead no longer a threat but a promise. "The story isn't finished. Not anymore. It's ours. Every messy, hopeful, glorious part." And so, with the mind stream humming softly and humanity forever altered, they set a course, not for certainty, but for everything the stars might let them become.